Good morning, guys. It's Alison Creamer, and I am here with a very unique guest. We're not actually talking about real estate today. However, you might find yourself in the need if somebody gets hurt on your property, maybe personal injury law. We are here with Manolita Holadia, or otherwise throughout this episode, we're going to call her Manny, which comes off my tongue a lot easier. So, Manny, we're going to briefly explain who you work for, maybe a little bit about your experience, because I see on the website you have a wonderful resume of a lot of things that you've accomplished. And then I think what our viewers would, or our listeners really would like to know about is some personal stories, how maybe you've helped people or some successes. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about how long you've been an attorney, what your experience, and some of the things that you've actually helped develop. I see here the Kiwanis clubs. I see, Washington, D.C. and Court of Appeals, all kinds of really heavy stuff.
My name's Manny Holadia. I've been with Joynes Gaidies over 20 years, and I became a lawyer to help people. That is, I wanted to be a problem solver. And from the time I've been young, very young, I've always thought being an attorney would accomplish that. It's not a very glamorous job like people think it is. We're in the trenches. And I think our firm is one I would describe as we're the ones to go and we're in the trenches. We're battling it out in general district court, circuit court, even appellate court. One of the things that you'll find when you call us is your life has been disrupted. You've been in an auto accident, you were going from month to month, trying to keep up with bills. Maybe you try to go to school to get a degree, to try to get a better job, and you've got children in school, and then an accident happens. You have no car, no way to get to school, your back hurts, you can't pick up your 2-year-old who's screaming right now. Maybe your husband's deployed, maybe it's the husband that's at home and the wife is deployed, or she has a job as well, and so she's not home to help you. And then everything unravels. Yeah. Your whole life unravels. So when you pick the phone up and you call us, I feel that we're going to listen to your whole story. We're not just going to sit here and go, okay, your property damage is X amount, let's make sure you get that, and your medical bills are this amount, let's make sure those get paid.
So it's not a box, it's not a checklist that you just go through. You really want to connect with the person and understand the whole picture.
Absolutely. And everybody is different.
We were just commenting how people think your job is going to be the same on every case, and real estate is the same, but it's people. We're dealing with a lot of different variables.
It's exactly what you say. The process is the same. You get the claim in, and you file the lawsuit, then you go have the trial, bench or jury. But the people are so different, and pain is a very personal thing. Life experience is very personal. And I think when you were telling me about when you sell a home, you have a relationship with that person in order to serve them better. And that's what we have to do. And people's life experiences where one person, and we were talking earlier about, remember President Reagan said, pull you up by your own bootstraps. Mm-hmm. Well, we love those stories, but what if you can't?
Right.
Does that make you less of a human being, less valuable because you couldn't pull yourself up? Everything unraveled. How are you going to get it all together? And you need some help. Well, that's what I'm hoping that I can do for you, and our firm can do that for you. It is very difficult these days as far as pain goes, because say you have the worst headache in the world, and I'm looking at you and you look fine. They do X-rays, it's fine. Ultrasound, CAT scan, everything's fine. But I believe you. You're looking at me and you're going, help me, I have this pain, but no one is believing me.
Right.
They're looking at my car, it doesn't look like an accordion, so they're thinking, how can you have this terrible pain? Well, that's when I'm going to reach out and help you and say, I believe you, and you know what? We're going to go to court on this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Juries deliver justice. And unfortunately, some people think justice means, 6-7 figures.
Right.
In their bank account. Justice is what those 7 people decide on that day. That's what our system is like. Our system says that when we go to court, whether it's judge or jury, what their verdict they render you based upon listening to the evidence that you presented, that is what our system says is justice. You may not always agree with it.
Right.
But we will get you there. We will get you through the system and present the best possible case that we can. I think, in another country, you've heard of this, if somebody runs over your child, well, then you get to run over their child. That's not the system here in America.
We're not living in biblical times, an eye for an eye.
However, you may want to, you may feel that.
I'm sure you have some clients that would love to ram their car into somebody.
They absolutely, and you feel it.
Yeah.
And often I tell a jury, and I tell my client, these 7 people only know you for a few hours, maybe even a couple of days. They get to know you. They don't know your pain. We will do our best, and that is what our job is to get this jury to understand what you're going through. The circumstances may seem against you. Remember, the worst cases go to trial. The easy ones settle. So when you see us in court, it's a difficult case.
Yeah.
It's a case where the car looks like there's not even a paint scratch on it, but yet you're a 6'4" man, you're in a small car, and when you got rear-ended, your knees hit the dashboard, and you end up with knee surgery.
Right.
And people are looking at this picture of this shiny car.
They're thinking, you're a big burly man. You should be able to suck it up.
Right, exactly. And that is exactly. They want to hear a success story. They don't want to hear one where you couldn't jump out of the car and, and recover in a few days and they never have to see you again. Yeah. But that's not the ones that make it to trial. In that particular case, he ended up with knee surgery. And you know what the insurance companies wanted to blame it on? He's 6'4".
Oh my goodness.
And he's overweight. If you have extra weight on you, it's your fault. That's why you had knee surgery. Oh, you're so tall. That means your joints, have arthritis in them.
Yeah.
See, look, there's arthritis, and so they want to blame it on that, and that's an easy sale, to the jury because all they have to do. Our job is I have to build a house of cards and present it to the jury. All the insurance company attorneys have to do is pull out one of those cards, and here in Virginia, that's all you need to do. We have to prove that 100% the cause of my client's pain is due to this accident. If they show that even 1% of it is somehow not their client's fault, case falls.
You have a very hard job.
It's very difficult.
Very hard job. Well, one of the reasons why we're on talking about this today is, when people choose a law firm, we were saying, it's not always the firm that has the biggest ad or the firm that has spent the most money on advertising. I wanted to be able to have an ability. I've met you through a mutual friend and wanted to have the ability to have a little bit of a story behind why you should come to Joynes Gaidies or ask for Manny, because your attorney can't just be the guy screaming on the TV, we're going to get you cash. That one drives me crazy.
Well, he's a nice guy.
Yeah,
he's a good lawyer.
It drives me crazy. I want to know that person isn't just checking the box off, that they're really listening, that they're really aligning their, the relationship so that they can hear what I have to say. Because I'm sure you've been in a case where it was just that small detail that, boom, changed everything. And it's because that attorney really listened and used that to an advantage.
I say that all the time because, we're a team. And every law firm will tell you that, but it's true. The lawyer can't do everything. I can't, type every letter. I can't take every call because I am in court all the time. And the 5 of us at Joynes Gaidies are in court every day. We are always in court. But sometimes I'll look at a medical report, and there's things that the medical report doesn't say. And I have a question, and I'll pick the phone up and I'll go, it says here that when you came to the emergency room that you couldn't stay very long and you had to leave, and they could not complete their examination of you. This is not going to look good to a jury. Can you tell me why? And then they go, oh, well, because I take care of my, elderly grandmother or my,
or I had children I had to go pick up.
And they needed me, and they don't understand if I'm in the hospital with pain that maybe I don't need surgery, but I had to leave. I had to go get them. As a matter of fact, because of the accident, I could not take care of, grandma or mom or dad because of the accident. Now, is that something I can turn in a bill to the jury and say, look, $2,000 lost? No.
Yeah.
But she'll tell you, I'm the only child that could take care of so-and-so. My other brother's here, my sister's here, and it hurt me to watch that I could no longer do that. What is the value of that? Mm-hmm. So it takes that extra time to pick the phone up or to have the client come in and find out, what did this accident really do to you?
Right.
Even if it's something as simple, we have retired people that say, you know what, every morning I enjoyed going to the mall and walking with my friends. It's something that's so simple, but for them, it was part of their life. It was something they really enjoyed. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So my job is to convince that jury that I know that doesn't sound maybe trivial to you, and maybe it's not anything that's important to you.
But it was important to your client.
It was important to them.
Makes perfect sense. So we talk about accidents. So you specialize in personal injury.
Yes.
So we said car. This could be. Is it what kind of accidents do you see? Is it typically car accidents, or is it falling at a store? Is it what?
We do a lot of what they call slip and falls or trip over fall, or something fell on me. You brought up the houses, what if I think a lot of people are very nervous. They think if someone gets hurt on their property, that immediately they're going to end up in some sort of major lawsuit. Those cases are very difficult in Virginia. Very few law firms take them. We do take them. Because when your body hits concrete or, a hard surface, believe it or not, your body sometimes is hurt worse than being in a car accident. So they're very difficult because people don't realize that just because you get hurt in a place of business doesn't mean it's that business's fault.
Right.
They think, well, I didn't do anything wrong, and you've already explained to me if I contributed somehow, if I was running or whatever, I don't win in Virginia. And I said, that's correct. But it doesn't mean because you did nothing wrong that the business is at fault. We have to show that the business knew or should have known that condition existed on the floor and did nothing about it. Can you imagine how hard that is?
That has got to be difficult.
But that doesn't mean if you call me and you say, I fell, I broke my hip, or I need knee surgery now, there was some water, at this place where I was shopping, I will listen to you and I will go and do my due diligence in uncovering all the evidence that I can. People, believe it or not, we'll be honest, that they're sworn, and we've had many employees, even managers, where their job's in jeopardy for telling the truth.
Right.
But they will. Yeah. They'll say,
So you get to see some good in people at the same time.
But lawsuits scare people. They really do. You have, the sheriff serves it, and it says you're being served for, how many dollars, and they look at that and it scares them.
Right.
But if you just turn it over to your insurance company, your insurance company will take care of you. Mm-hmm. And so I always deal with, Allstate, State Farm, Geico, I always deal with those attorneys. I know them well. And there's also an issue of people can get bitter and callous over the years. And so they think that, oh, well, your client's not as hurt as they say that they are, or they're malingering. Mm-hmm. They should be better by now. And that's what you were telling me earlier about when you deal with your customers. It's a very personal thing.
It's very personal.
You and I were moms with children. Say we trip on steps and we fall down and our child's calling for us, we jump right up. We go running to our child.
Pain or not pain.
I don't care if my knee's bleeding, bruised. We go up and do that. But does that make it so that if we see another mom that can't, she falls down and she just can't get up? Do I look at her and judge her?
Right.
We really should not. We're in no position to judge anybody. But guess what? When you're in a court of law and you have that jury, they will judge you. And that's
it's intimidating.
It is. It's very, and people get very upset over that. They said, they don't know me. And I said, they don't. We're going to do our best to have this jury get to know you so that they can understand for you didn't bounce back up.
Yeah.
And maybe you gained, 10 pounds, 20 pounds because you couldn't work out, and that caused other issues. But you were working out hard, trying to eat right, but then you can't, as we were talking earlier, organic food or healthy food is more expensive than a 99-cent hamburger at McDonald's. So then all of a sudden you started eating cheaper food.
Because you couldn't afford the lifestyle that you had prior.
You couldn't go to work and you didn't have the wages. Does that make you less of a person? No.
Wow, you have a very deep, difficult job, Manny. I am glad that you specialize in that because I don't know if I could. But, what has been wonderful sitting here listening to you is, people tend to think an attorney can be a cold-hearted shark. They put labels on them. Believe it or not, my industry is lumped right into used car salesmen and attorneys, I think. So yes. I feel you on that. But
we're sisters.
But I feel like I wanted to be able to have somebody hear your voice, hear your tone, understand that, there is a relationship behind the business. And you've talked about, there's times that you get phone calls that might not necessarily be 100% related to the things that you're helping with people, but you open up your heart and you get to know the people. So, I hope our listeners, well, as you said, you hope you never need to help them. Because you always know that means that they're suffering in some way when those people come to you. So it is good that they have an opportunity to hear you before the elevator pitch, where you're trying to show them why they need you or why they need to hire you. So now your firm has been in business for over 20 years. We're going to put a link in the text portion so that people can reach out to you. But is there a phone number, or is there something quickly that if somebody's only listening that they could jot down quickly and give you a call if they need your help?
Well, as many people know from our prior commercials, if you're hurt, call 757-486-3000.
757-486-3000. And we're also going to have the website link online so that people can reach out to you. Now, if you do happen to call the firm, mention this episode and make sure that you do ask for Manny specifically. It'd be nice to know if this got to somebody who really needed it. So, Manny, thank you so much for coming in today. And
thank you.
Is there any last comments, any good words of advice if somebody finds themselves in a bad situation?
Pictures, are worth more than 1,000 words, and that is true. If you get into an injury situation, and I know you're in pain, but if you can get pictures to document whatever the situation is, whether you fell or you're in an accident, try to take as many pictures as you can.
Yeah. And nowadays with the mobile technology, I'm sure there's good and bad to that, but it's probably better to be
don't post about it on Facebook.
Exactly.
Try not to let
keep the social out of it. Consider this business at that point. So, all right, Manny. Well, I appreciate it, and I hope nobody needs your services because we don't want anybody to be in pain. But if they do, I definitely hope that you can help them.
Thank you.